Hey, what's up, guys? It's Rico here, CEO of Sourcefine Asia, co-host of the Main Channel podcast, and of course, the host of the Sourcefine Asia YouTube channel. Doing something I've done once before, which is a YouTube stream. I think I'm going to be doing this on a regular basis now. It just makes a lot of sense in terms of you know, having a stronger connection with the community and stuff like that. So, elephant in the room is it's been a while since we posted on a regular basis. We have posted some content from time to time, audio podcasts and video podcasts. So this particular stream, I'm going to be talking about like what's been going on, what I've been up to, and the reasons why content hasn't been posted on a as much regular basis as it was. Actual following has doubled during this time period. Like in the space of like a year, we've gone from, I think it was like a little bit over 1,000. No, well, yeah, a little bit over 1,000 followers to 2.2K, without releasing that much content. So obviously we have a back catalog. We have over 100 videos on YouTube. So that's part of it. Anyway, so yeah, I want to address comments and I want to just explain what's been going on and what we're doing in the future. So without further ado, let me start with what's been going on. So, there's a couple different things. Obviously, COVID happened, and that I had a different plan for what I was going to do content-wise prior to COVID. I wanted to start to do like more. Sorry, it's some Discord. We launched a Discord for a lot of people that don't know. So I just have to respond to Discord comment real quick. Okay. Sorry. What happens when you go live and it's the first time? All right, I'm back. So yeah, as I was saying, yeah. So in terms of what's been going with on my side, things has been more about. So COVID happened. My idea in terms of content creation was to try to take it up another level. So now that I was in the Philippines, I wanted to have like my videographer following me around, me and my friend at the time. We were living together and following us around the city and seeing our day-to-day life type of thing in the Philippines, and kind of creating a sort of reality TV show, but centered around business and living in Asia and the Philippines. Unfortunately, We were not able to launch that prior to COVID, but I still did some videos that were very unique. Some of them I haven't posted on YouTube yet, but like there's the one that I did that was like MTV Cribs parody, and then there's a couple clips that I've posted of the sort of digital fair that I did where I interviewed a bunch of different entrepreneurs from different space and stuff like that. And I'm going to be posting those in full this year. So yeah, all those things changed a lot of my, how I was operating and things like that. And then of course, there's another aspect of the business getting to a stage where we felt we needed to shift into dealing with more like established companies, just because it's obviously more lucrative, but at the same time it's also like if you have, let's say your business expenses per year are like $200,000 or something like that, right? And then you can get clients that pay you can get 5 clients or 10 clients that pay you $50,000. That means your profit is 300,000, right? Whereas like if you're in the same space, you need to, and your clients are paying you 1,500 per project or $2,000 per project or something like that, you have to get a significantly larger amount of clients to be able to cover your expenses. And see, that's one of the number one issues when it comes to businesses, like how do you acquire more customers, more clients, and all those kind of things. So we just saw that we still wanted to service clients that are startups and small to medium-sized businesses, but having a little bit more of a focus on the marketing to larger companies is basically where we kind of went. So the larger companies tend not to be in this space of social media in terms of YouTube and stuff like that. I'm not saying they aren't there, because we definitely had clients that were multi-million-dollar companies that found us through YouTube or through my podcast. But it's few and far between. I would say that more so the larger companies would find our company through like LinkedIn or word of mouth, or or Google search, actually Google searches as well. So so we started to think, okay, can we create more materials for those platforms? And that's kind of where we went with that. The next thing I would say, in terms of why we haven't been producing content, is just time. So when time and money. So we'll kind of shift the business focus, and you kind of go into a different direction. It's going to take time for you to see the results, right? And you're also spending money during that time period, and your focus shifts to another area. Recording podcasts and scheduling the podcasts and all those kind of things, definitely very important, but it's time. It takes time. So, like going back and forth between you and the person that you're going to interview, and then actually sitting down and doing a podcast. And I don't like to do these like short 30-minute podcasts and stuff like that. Like I want to sit down and talk to somebody for an hour and a half, and really deep dive into their life and their business and how everything operates. So that's a big aspect of what's been going on. Next, so in terms of last year, was obviously, I think everybody has experienced this, there was an economic downturn around the world as well. So like the focus becomes more of how do we stay afloat? How do we make sure that salaries are paid and bills are paid and things like that? So that becomes a heavy focus. We also launched Discord, As I mentioned before, if you wanna join the Discord, you can just go to the website and click on the link for the Discord. So that was also something that I started to focus on, and was creating content for the Discord. So we have probably, I don't know, 20, 30 episodes of podcasts for the Discord. And then of course is the management of that. And yeah, so those are the reasons. This is a shift in business focus, and then also launching the Discord and the digital summit that we had as well, recording all that content for that. And like I said, economic downturn as well. So is heavy focus on trying to make sure that bills are paid. Now, that being said, I will say that the plans for this year and moving forward with the business are trying to get back into the content creation in terms of public content creation, not just private. Because like I said, Discord is a little bit more closed off, and some of the other content that I created was content explicitly for LinkedIn and stuff like that. So that's where the focus was. We also worked with some marketing companies as well, and I'm not sure about the results when it comes to that. Honestly, like, yeah, you have to be kind of careful when it comes to working with some of these marketing agencies. So yeah, it's getting back into natural content creation, which is something that I've been doing from pretty much the beginning of the business, and it's yielded most of the results. I always talk about the 80-20 principle. Definitely part of the 20% that's brought us 80% of business. So yeah, that's important. Outside of that, it's also just like making sure that we don't take on expenses that we don't need. That's another thing. Trying to get back into networking as well. Networking is also been a very big part of how we have built the company over the years. And I mean, literally, that's how I met Mike, my business partner, is through networking. And then we have some other business strategies that we are planning on implementing and have been implementing already. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. So you'll see my face on a regular basis. That the live streaming thing is also part of the aspect that I wanted to start doing. Obviously, I'll improve on how we're gonna do this, but yeah, that's it. So that being said, let me start to get into the comments, because it's been a while. I've got a lot of comments in the YouTube space. Yeah, sorry for the delay. All right, so we have at Bashir Abdullah, he 76. He says, "Hey Rico, could you please tell us about the living expenses in all these different cities, like Shenzhen, Guangzhou, etc. Um, Honestly, I mean, I haven't been in China now for a while, so I don't know if the living expenses have changed that much. But at least when I was there, like in Guangzhou, and also depends on what you how you want to live, right, and where you want to live and what you're doing. So like in Guangzhou, for me, I was living in sort of the nicer area, the newer area of Guangzhou called Tianhe, and in Tianhe, um, the prices are high for apartments in comparison to other places, but my apartment was sort of like fixed renting cost. Like, I mean, not necessarily fixed by the government, but like it was lower than what it could be, just because originally it was a village and they had basically, like, to build the apartments there, they had to remove the people that were living there and displace them and then put them in separate housing and all that kind of stuff. So when they built the buildings, those particular buildings could not be rented out or bought out for more than a certain amount of money. Anyways, my place in China was something along the lines of like $1,000 a month. That was including internet. That was including the water bill, utilities was every 2 months. But if I remember correctly, the utilities every 2 months was something like $100. So water and electricity. Yeah, internet rent was about $1,000, and it was a furnished apartment, and all the other stuff that had to happen in terms of if there was something that needed to be fixed or all those kind of things, that was handled by the landlord. We had a property manager who would come in and check what was the issue and find somebody to fix it. So that's pretty much how it was. So that's living in terms of just apartment. But food wise, I mean, obviously you can cook for yourself. I can say that, like, groceries, you could live on like $100 a month, maybe 200 max, if you're just cooking at home. If you're going out, like, it depends on what restaurants you're going to. You can eat the typical, like, rice and chicken or rice and beef or dishes from the local spots. That's like $2 to $3 a meal. Or you can go to fancier places and spend 10 to 20 to even $50 a meal, depending on what you're ordering. So that's a general cost. And then the transportation thing is, if you're using the subway, then I feel like the card, man, it's been a long time since I used the Guangzhou subway, because at some stage I was only taking DDs, and the DDs were cheap. It was like $1 to $2 to go from my office to my home. So that's why I started doing that. And then maybe max like $4 or $5 to go to other parts of the city. So yeah, I think overall, to survive, I would say, like, you would need at least $600 to $800 a month. If you want to live in a big city like Guangzhou or Shenzhen. If you want to live comfortably, you would need like probably 2 to 3 thousand a month. That's what my recommendation would be. We have, I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce this correctly, Salio Cisse 2355. Hello, brother Rico. Please give me advice if I want to move to China to build a business between China to the rest of the world, specifically Africa. My advice would be just if you want to move there, like, I mean, I don't know how old you are or anything like that, but I would say, like, what I did was I went on a student visa. So I went and studied Mandarin for the first 3 to 6 months that I was in China. But at the same time, my overall goal was to start a business. So I was kind of doing everything at the same time, and then eventually I started to cut off. Like, I cut off school, then I cut off like some other stuff, and then eventually went into business. So yeah, that would be my first recommendation. But you can also go there on a business visa. Depending on which country you're applying from, you can get anywhere between 6 months to 10 years. So um, that would be my recommendation. And then in terms of the actual cities, I still think that southern China is the best place to be, like Shenzhen, Guangzhou, Dongguan. I still think that's the best place to be, because like places like Shanghai, Beijing, the problem is, like, with Shanghai is still good, but Shanghai is not a manufacturing city. People think that Shanghai is no, it's outside of Shanghai. It's the outskirts of Shanghai that the manufacturing goes down, where the manufacturing goes down. So yeah, I would still say that southern China, at least, like, you have access. Like, if you're in Guangdong, like, you have access within 1 to 2 hours to all of these various cities that I mentioned already: Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Dongguan, and like, there's so much stuff there, and every single product that you can imagine is available in those areas. It might not be the cheapest in terms of, like, some products. Maybe some products you might need to source from northern China. But yeah, I would definitely recommend moving to southern China. Okay, next question. All right, I have another question from George K. Twee, KV4ZI. Hey, I'm the CEO of Africa Chamber of Youth in Small Scale Industries, and we want to organize an industrial tour of China. Can you facilitate it for me? Yeah, of course. You can always facilitate tours of China. It just depends on the logistics and everything like that, like the amount of people. We've done that multiple times in the past, where we, in fact, multiple times, like almost every single client that came to China for the first time, we organized their accommodation and the travel within China, because it's one thing to go on, like, Agoda or whatever, and try to book hotels and everything, but when you arrive, it's completely different. And then also, just the transportation is also a nightmare for most foreigners when they arrive in China. Yeah, for something like that, you'd have to just contact our team. Go to the website sourcefinasia.com/contact us. We have another comment from at CE Fasitali 1177. Wow, awesome, Rico. I'm inspired by your work. Please continue your good work. Thank you for that. I try to continue. At user K3KU7ZR5. Why did these sound like passwords? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on with these usernames? Great video. How can I find dependable manufacturers in China? If you don't know, like, how do I say this? If you haven't watched some of my other videos, then you wouldn't know, because my other videos I've described ad nauseum how to find dependable factories in China. In fact, I have webinars and stuff like that in terms of like the 4 steps. There's a book that you can download from the website. So yeah, I think that basically you need to do a little bit more research and go through some of my other content, so that I don't have to explain the same thing over again. Like the webinar that I did is 2 hours long, so for me to do an explanation on that right now wouldn't make any sense. But you can, obviously, I've been working with China for almost 10 years. In fact, for 10 years. And yeah, so you can. It's just like you need to just like kind of go through some of the other content. We have at Soother408. I love the content. Keep it up. Can you talk about opening a bank account in China for visitors for business? I'm planning to visit for business, and honestly, you're the most convenient person who's talking about China for business. Regards. Well, thank you for the compliment. Opening a bank is relatively easy. I don't know if they've changed the laws at all, but you literally just have to go into one of the branches, ideally with somebody who speaks Chinese, because the documents you're going to be filling out, and also most likely the person you're going to be speaking to, it doesn't speak English, so the documents will be in Mandarin. So you want to, maybe hire somebody for a day. There's a lot of paperwork, so it's probably going to take you 2 to 3 hours, maybe 2 hours, I would say, but maybe more depending on the situation. But you don't have to open a business account. Like you can just open. You can just open a regular bank account and transfer money in there. Like you can transfer money into that account, US dollars into that account. So if you wanted to transfer money before you travel to China, so you can access the money when you're in China, or you wanted to transfer money to your account so you can pay suppliers or something like that, that's completely fine. So yeah, all you need to do is go there, present your passport, passport, whatever other ID they might need, but it's regularly just the passport. Fill out the documents, and they get a few questions. You might have to do a thumbprint thing. I'm not sure if anything's changed since then, so it's not that complicated of a process, I would say. And then from there, they give you a dongle, which is it's like a passcode key thing that you can carry around. So if you want to log in, and that's probably the most important thing, I would say, is make sure before you leave China, if you do open an account in China, to log into all of the accounts that you need to. So for example, Alipay, let me see what are my other business banking apps that I use. Alipay and WeChat. So Alipay and WeChat, if you can link your account to those apps, is going to be very helpful, because if you're outside of China and you want to send money to somebody in China, then you can transfer money from your bank account in China to your Alipay, or use your Alipay to pay that person. And it's much faster. You don't need to have as much information. Like, for example, with Alipay, with let's say business or online banking in general, you would have to log in. The website is not in English. So you need to kind of figure out or translate through your Google Translate or something like that, uh, how to transfer the money to that person. And yeah, for somebody that reads Chinese fluently, it's easy, but there's just a lot of information on the sites. If anybody's gone to a Chinese website, you understand what I'm saying. But if you have all that stuff linked up before, all you have to do is transfer the money into your account, and then you log into your Alipay, and then you would just type in somebody's phone number or their Alipay account number, and then you transfer the money. So highly recommend that setup. And also your online banking as well should be set up before you leave China, because it's going to be much more difficult to set up that stuff once you've left the country. Another one of these password sounding names, user JR1KO4MD2S. Hi, so can I source reliable factory source? Of course. Of course you can. It just takes time, and don't go with the first option that you find. That's what I would say. My general rule of thumb is like we try to talk to at least 20 to 50 suppliers and then narrow it down to one, because you start to see patterns when you talk to that amount of suppliers. Okay, this is an interesting one. At Philippini Nice Set, do you have any recommendations if it's feasible to make a website to sell products from Hong Kong to China? Well, making a website is, I mean, that's very easy to do. Selling products from Hong Kong to China, like, I mean, that's obviously exists because a lot of Chinese people actually travel to Hong Kong to buy stuff. Mainlanders travel to Hong Kong to buy stuff. So that definitely exists. I would just say that you might struggle with the logistical aspects. That's the part that you have to figure out, is like the taxation and how does that work exactly. That's where your main focus should be. But the website, I mean, you can make a website in one day and just link up the payment processing stuff, and that's it. At Dorcas W3004, are you still in China? No, I'm not currently in China. I'm in the Philippines. Yeah, I don't plan on living in China anytime soon, to be honest. But I mean, my team is still there, my office is still there, and I'm not saying I'm not going to go to China. I kind of miss China actually, to a certain extent. But in terms of actually renting an apartment like I did for 5 years, it's not really my speed right now. There's another one from Abu Mandela Saya Mandela 9168. Interesting. Bro, I want to come to Guangzhou. How can you help me out with some ideas and so on? I mean, helping you out with ideas, I mean, it's not really my forte. Like, I have my own ideas in terms of stuff that I want to do, stuff that I'm doing currently. But I always think about it like this. It's like, why would I necessarily help you like start a business in the sense of creating your own business? Is like, well, you need to come to me with an idea, and I can tell you whether the idea is good or not, depending on what it is and the manufacturing process and all those kind of details. So that's my perspective on that. But yeah, I mean, if you want help going to Guangzhou, if you want help in terms of your trip and stuff like that, that's easy for us to help with, like I said earlier. Somebody said at lovely Elizabeth or love Elizabeth these. Hello, it's my first time seeing your videos. Please, how can I talk to you? If you want to contact me, it's really easy. My email address is rico@sourcewineasia.com. But outside of that, just go to the website and go to the contact us page, which is the most ideal way for people to contact us, because then it's not just me who's receiving the information, it's multiple people. At Hori Nixon 6440. Hey Rico, new sub here. Love your content. Thank you. Much appreciated. Somebody is asking Mr. Mohammed, I guess, but just without the vowels in between. It was a comment on where to get custom suits in China, and he says, "How much does it cost?" My suits were roughly, I want to say they were like. So I got about three different suits. So there's and then 3-piece suits. With every single time, I think I got 2 or 3 shirts. I'm wearing one right now, which is custom dress shirts. You can see. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but it says Rico right here. So pocket squares as well. So I have a dress shirt like this, and then I have a pocket square is the same exact pattern with the excess material from the shirt. I want to say that my suits were around like $200 per suit, maybe maximum 300. It's give or take $200. Let's put it like that. Could be 150, could be 300, and that's including like what I said: dress shirts, 2 dress shirts, pocket squares for the dress shirts, the actual suit itself, 3-piece suit, with a lot of customization. So my suit jacket has 2 buttons, and in the inside it also says Rico on the inside, and then I have an inside pocket. I have a pocket on the outside as well, and so yeah, I think it's pretty reasonable for the amount of for the quality of the material, and then the quality of customization, and the amount of customization that you can do. I think a suit like that in another country, i.e., like the US or some European country, would be easily well over $500. Uh, maybe $1,500 to $1,000, something like that. Even more than that, maybe in $2,000, depending on who the designer is. Oh, this is a really interesting one. So at Nomi955, hey, thanks for sharing. I'm interested in QC, quality control, and becoming a QC representative, as my studies are related to SCM, and I'm currently in China. Do you have any sources or WeChat groups where to find some jobs, job offers as a QC representative? Thanks. Yeah, I know that this comment was left a while ago, so hopefully this reaches you. But yeah, I do actually. One of my friends is a manager at a QC company, and then we have a bunch of QC companies that we work with. Actually, one of my mentors owns a QC company as well, so that could be a potential introduction. As I said before, you just have to email me, rico@sourcewineasia.com, or go through the website. We have another one at Mustafa9760. How can I get an internship in China as a food technologist? I don't even know what a food technologist is, honestly. um, I don't know. I feel like some of these things, like when it comes to, like if it's a very, very niche job or market, like you have to physically be in China, or you need to know somebody that's in China that is already in that industry, because like trying to apply for the kind of job, if you don't have that much experience or you don't have any contacts in China from abroad, is going to be very, very difficult. And like even when you're in China, it still takes some time for you to find people that you can that can introduce you to the people that you need to talk to. And yeah, food technology is a very, very niche market, right? So the good part is that there's not that many that be for those kind of jobs. That's the good part. And if you as a foreigner have a little of an advantage, because a lot of these Chinese companies want to recruit foreigners for some of these jobs. So, but I would say the first step is just go to China, and then start networking. You can probably try to find some communities through Reddit and various sites that talk about these things, and then try to, make your way to the mainland. At Drive Classics One, your links are horrible to browse. It's very nice. Appreciate it. What's interesting about these comments, some of these comments are just like bots. Anyways, so I think for today, I think I can sign off. This has been good. Like I have been recording podcasts. I did some podcasts on for one of my friends, Leadership with a Heart. So if you want to check that out, that's Lorenzo Payman. He's been on the pod before as well. I have recorded some stuff with China Mike. China Mike was in the Philippines in February, just before he went off to mainland China for basketball. So yeah, I'll be continuing to do this, and I think the live streaming aspect just adds a different component to it. It's more interesting for me, and hopefully we can get some more engagement moving forward. So appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed this, by the way, obviously drop comments, questions. I'm going to be answering them. If you want to jump on the live stream, I will, appreciate that, and I can answer questions live, no pun intended. And yeah, I just hope to do this consistently. I think I'm probably going to be on a schedule of Thursdays afternoon Hong Kong time, if not evening or morning, but like most afternoon, because that's typically when I record, and the lighting in my space is better. I mean, right now I'm using a ring light. So anyway, yeah, so I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next stream. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Another one. Cheers.